Why don't we always take action on what we know we should? Hi everyone, I'm Coach Phoenix and I'd like to share my thoughts on this subject with you. But before we start, let me clarify that going forward, we'll be talking about specific words. In every case, we refer to the very core, deep, and true meaning of these words. For example, when we talk about knowledge, we assume that something which is true. And when we talk about belief, it's a justified need for every individual. Now, one way or another, most of us have faced this. What I'm talking about is something we know of which has been proven experimentally, scientifically, or otherwise. These can be anything. Think of physical health, habits, mental health, nutrition, and many more. We might even know of circumstances where the proven facts have successfully been implemented and indicated outcomes achieved. Now think of a situation where we have been affected by a problem ourselves, where that specific information is proven to work. Yet we don't start taking action. Looks like we're not even ready to try. Or at times, we might start, but stop prematurely. You might have heard the very famous saying, knowledge is power. Well, assuming knowledge is only the knowing part, an encyclopedia, a hard drive, or even the very famous Google search must be the greatest power in the world. But are they? We've got at the tip of our fingers huge amount of information, only seconds away, which is the time taken between typing in a question or searching for a specific information until thousands, if not millions, of resources pop up. At times, we might simply ignore the important information, whether intentionally or otherwise, and later plead ignorance. It's obvious that at this level, we're not going to take action on something which we've ignored. Some other times, however, we further our initial search, look for background information, and find factual and scientific evidence, and we might even check the validity of those resources to evaluate the accuracy of the information. But all these don't necessarily end up in implementation, let alone scrutinizing the findings to see how they can be adapted to our specific life situation. To make this point clearer, let's talk about a more tangible example. How about the notorious yet very delicious processed sugar? Would it be safe to assume everyone knows in general about the health risk associated with processed sugar? Some might even know more into the specifics and nuances of sugar-related medical complications. Now, would it be safe again to assume most of us consume processed sugar one way or another? What is going on? Where is the missing link between knowledge and implementation? Or in other words, between the information and action? When is that transition going to happen, which results in finally taking action on what we had known we should for a long time? I think the trigger is in the connection between information and feeling. It means we would only act on a piece of information when there is a strong connection between that and the way we feel about it. It is a very complex matter, but what is obvious is when a strong bond is formed between information and feeling, it is taken to the next level, which I call belief. In the right time and for the right reasons, belief is formed. Thus, taking action becomes the only choice. Going back to the sugar example, the trigger may be caused by losing a loved one to diabetes, in which case, all the information becomes associated with feelings, belief is formed, and we start taking action, which may be cutting heavily back on sugar or even stop eating it. Some of the common barriers to acting on knowledge are ignoring it, not accepting it to be true, not fully understand it, being biased about it, being busy to act on it, not fully appreciating its relevance, and lacking confidence or courage to act on it. Do we need to face an issue, a problem, a complication, a loss, or some other severe circumstances before we start taking action? What are the other ways of generating connection between knowledge and feelings, or in other words, creating belief? how can we support triggering action without necessarily getting into a situation where there is no other choice than taking action. I'm very keen to hear your thoughts, get to know the challenging circumstances you might be dealing with, and brainstorm the topic further so we can come up with different solutions. So, leave a comment, or better yet, send me a direct message so we can discuss this further. But in any case, don't forget to take very good care of yourself.